Hi everyone, welcome to this video about Mindly Wellbeing. I'm going to share why I started Mindly Wellbeing, why we do what do we do here, and how do it, and of course, how to get your money back. Let's get starting. For those of you who have known me before, you may know that I've spent about 2.5 decades in various countries, about 10 countries, working across the automotive industry, especially into emission reduction. Then I worked in finance and investing and so forth. And I still invest in many impact startups as well. But over these years, life happened. Many years ago, I lost my dad very suddenly, and life moved on. And later, what I thought was work stress was something more than that. And the doctors tested me, and they said, "You're completely fine." I used to run marathons, I still do. But I was not able to sleep. I was going through burnout. I had nightmares and so forth. And one of the doctors asked me, "Have you ever heard of bereavement counseling?" And I'd never heard of it. And within few sessions, my life changed like anything. I studied psychology in detail. I got myself certified and qualified in it, while all the way doing my usual work, because that was my main work, and psychology was something that I loved. And then COVID happened. And during COVID, I was talking to some of my friends and family members, many of them entrepreneurs, and I was just saying, "Hello, how are you?" Because lockdown was going on. You couldn't even meet in the next pub because everything was locked down. People were going through tough times. Um, During these times, what started as a simple hello became more like a session. And people called me back saying, "Jeev, what you spoke last time, it worked. I tried it out. Can we speak again next Saturday or something like that?" And I said, "Well, yeah, why not? I mean, these were all friends and family, and these were pro bono sessions. And this is how things started rolling. And in fact, I used to just do it on weekends or Wednesday evenings as such. And things became more and more formal, where I started using the frameworks that I had learned from psychology, especially cognitive behavioral therapy. And I started converting them to business environment, because many a times not everybody understands the risks and stresses of us that are specific to founders, investors, small businesses, small teams, and so forth. We do so much. And this is why it all started. And I love doing it. I love creating solutions along with people I am speaking with, to give them a better sense of clarity and direction, and process their emotions. And what I understood from all this is, how come we did not have this compared to so many people who seem to get life so easily? And I felt that there is a lack of solutions. There is a taboo slash stigma which is there, where we don't want to talk about this, especially when we are growing, where these are leaders in companies, these are founders and investors. And how can I speak about these kind of topics in front of people? The judgment factor is so high. And I think there was a big gap. There is still a big gap in talking about these things without shame. And I felt that we should do something together as a society to bring clarity, calmness, and courage in our day-to-day life at work. And these days, the line between work and personal life is becoming thinner with remote work and so forth, and general anxiety starts coming in. If we knew how to regulate these emotions at work, if this was being taught in certain places, more than just quick checkbox exercises, we would know this. But many a times we don't realize it until it becomes a bigger problem. And I call this as like having a mild flu for a long time, and you start living with this kind of general anxiety. But there is a cycle. I feel anxious, and then I do something about it, and then I feel anxious again, and it becomes a circular loop. And hence, it becomes worse and worse. And I think that we have to understand how to regulate this. Can we do something as simple as washing our hands just to prevent things going worse? And the good news is we can. Let's see. Before we go into that, what causes these kind of things? I mean, you might say, I mean, Jeev, you know, this is common sense. I mean, there are so many things that are causing this kind of anxiety, but let's list down a bit more in detail. General anxiety. I mean, 3 out of 4 issues of general anxiety is not even caused by things at work, but they come out of outside environment, the economy, our health, our personal issues that are going on, personal life, and so forth. And work can be a great place to share this. At the same time, work can be a very tough place to share this as well, especially if you're judged, if it is a high risk, high stress environment. 2 out of 3 people come to work even when they're not feeling their best. Long hours are there, many a times without direction or with conflicting information. These things not just lead to conflicting results, they lead to conflicts at work, emotional conflicts, personal conflicts, financial conflicts, and so forth. There is a big gap between what the leaders are looking at, what the deadlines are, and what the efforts versus rewards are as well. Creates huge amount of imbalance. Remote work creates a lack of transparency between like how much effort the member is putting in, how what's the reward coming in, and at the same time, things look easy when they are not. Things look hard when they are easy, and this is already causing some kind of a gap, and it's taking into the feelings of frustration and anxiety. High workload does not help at all. These are generic things, and of course, things related exactly to your industry would be different. One of the common questions that come to me is, how is it different from first aid, what you do? Mental health first aid is there. We have signposting. We have members who are already helping other people out. We have a member who people can approach. What I see it as, it complements. It is beyond that, and it's a very helpful thing. For mental health first aid is more like watching out for things which you should watch out for. If the wave is big, what should you do? If the wave is small, what should you do? What are the situations where you can seek help? Who should you go to seek help with? How do you identify these situations and so forth, which is extremely relevant and extremely deep. At the same time, once we have done that, how do we navigate these waves? How do we surf these waves is where Mindly Wellbeing comes in. And you could serve this individually, you could go through these waves as a team, and there are different techniques to do that and different ways to approach these different terminologies specific to your business, specific to your sector that needs to be taken care and created for you. At the same time, one thing I always insist on is, can we convert this to some kind of a simple routine? Like I gave the example of simply washing our hands to stay safe. What can we do? What's the mental equivalent of washing our hands or taking a shower to feel better and come back quickly to a state of calmness and readiness so that we can go on with our life without an external dependency? Because I mean, this is where people go into substance abuse or go for a smoke or go to the pub and so forth. But what else can we do that is actually healthier, that actually works in a framework relevant to your industry, that is easy to learn without becoming a psychologist yourself? I mean, especially because this is a stigma topic. Instead of sharing it with someone else, people go and start watching YouTube videos, reading books, and they go through these cycles again. They're anxious, they read a book or watch a video, they feel better, and they come back and they feel anxious again, and the loop repeats. Can we simplify it? Can we even make it even simpler to create these tools? And this is where Mindly Wellbeing comes in. I use cognitive behavioral therapy as a base, which has been proven a lot in these environments. At the same time, I use entrepreneurial risk frameworks and custom models. Many a times we create models for the company, for the team. A simple model. In fact, one of our model is called simple because it relates to 6 different types of well-being. There is an aeroplane model that is there. We walk through it. These simple things of life actually help you understand how can I convert this complicated topic into something quick and easy and get on with my work. Um, in our sessions, we give you a number of tools, offline as well as online. Some of them you can do on your phone, some of them on a piece of paper, some of them just in your mind. We do a lot of talking, both sides. Talking involves, it's a two-way conversation. It's not one way ever. And there is a lot of information which is relevant to you, which is teaching a bit more about how do we express our emotions at work. And speaking of expressions, many a times we see when we ask, can you tell me how you're feeling? And people have a vocabulary of, let's say, 5 to 10 words of I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling peaceful, or I'm feeling happy, or I'm feeling frustrated, and so forth. But believe me or not, there are more than 400 ways of expressing those 5 to 10 feelings. And when we start doing these kind of exercises, when we see, were you feeling frustrated, or was it a matter of feeling helpless or directionless, and the answer to your question would have helped you feel less frustrated. And there are light bulbs going on where people say, yeah, that particular situation, I was looking for an answer and nobody gave me an answer. If I had an answer, even in on a company website, or even if I had time to call somebody, then I would have felt a bit less frustrated or a bit less helpless, and slowly go towards feeling a bit more engaged, starting with myself. And these are the ways we teach, where we understand, is this the real feeling, or shall we go a bit deeper into it? And when we do these kind of things, we test everything, especially relevant to your own sector and industry as well, because what works in one situation may not work in another situation. There is no direct formula. But when we talk a bit deeper, we can actually create these frameworks specific to you. Test out. If it doesn't work, there is something else that can work, and there is a variation of the technique that can work. And I connected it with some quantified results, which I will share in a moment. I do it online, I do it in person. Depends on the location, depends on the preference of the company. In some cases, it gives an additional layer of anonymity as well, if that helps, because this is all about feeling safe, not feeling judged. And we do this without judgment. I've been through it myself. I know how it feels to be judged, and especially when you're doing well, meaning you're putting your best effort and you're still being judged, is is a situation that definitely needs help and definitely needs understanding. I do this in one-to-one sessions as well as in groups. The initial resistance was there, where people said, how can I share these kind of things, Chief, in groups? And we said, okay, let's start with something that is shareable. Let's not go deeper into that. Let's start with something that is everywhere, something common that is worrying you as a group. And later, same groups have come back to me saying that, this group is my support group. This group is my group. I feel safe in my group. And they actually prefer the group sessions instead of one-to-one, because they get to know they are not alone. They also have get to hear other people's problems which can come to them, and they know solutions beforehand. And more than anything, if something happens, there is someone to actually help them out, and there is someone else as well in their support group. So definite group sessions are very helpful, even if this is a so-called stigma topic. How do you get your money's worth and more? Many a times, well-being is connected to a very soft thing, a charitable thing. There are free things available everywhere, and it makes it very difficult to measure. But when you're a business owner, when you're an HR leader, when you're a manager, and so forth, you really need to know, if I'm putting some time and money into this, what am I getting out of it? We start with discussions about what would happen if a team member is absent for a long time, if they're suboptimal, if we had to rehire somebody or retrain somebody, what are the costs? And we start jotting them down. And while we do that, we start getting into KPIs which are relevant to the business. Is utilization relevant? Is absenteeism relevant or presenteeism relevant? Is is can be directly connected to sales numbers? Can be directly connected to training costs and so forth? And I show them that within a month to 3 months, how the workshops, the training, the frameworks that we have shared are already giving you back your money's worth. It's like having a website where you put, let's say, 100 quid on the website, and the website has generated sales much more than 100 quid. It's as objective as that. We just have to map it out so that it is relevant to your business, and I help you with that. And this gives a very big reason to actually convert whatever you have done in the past to some results. People have invested in other trainings. People have invested in a bunch of things that are well, in health insurances, in day offs, company day offs, and so forth. But if it has not helped out, can we get that money back as well? So it's even going beyond these kind of workshops here as well. I partner with other workshops, like I was saying, other workshops. Business trainings are already there in place. Executive coaches are there. They give you direction to the business as well to the leaders. There are nutritionists, there are fitness coaches, safety trainers, health and safety trainers, and much more. And speaking about emotional regulation, mental well-being, processing your emotions, giving frameworks, it actually fits into those trainings and even improves the results of those trainings as well. People stick to what they have learned in that training and make a habit out of it. So you get even more out of that. So if you know someone who is a business trainer, executive coach, nutritionist, fitness coach, health and safety trainers, and so forth, ask them to contact me or introduce me to them, and we would definitely have a call. And if you are one of them, let us definitely talk. And speaking of introductions, the kind of people I love getting introduced, and these keep coming, are directors, these are founders, these are small business owners, HR leaders, managers, trainers. Local councils have approached, local GPs, health hubs have approached to give talks as well as frameworks here. And some of them are pro bono, some of them are community based, some of them are group based, and so forth. But all of them have benefited. I am yet to see someone who comes and say, Jeev, regulating emotions at work has actually not helped, and it's bad for my business, and things are going worse. We have to talk on this, where we understand how can it help you, how can it help you grow, how can it help you use the other trainings that you had as well, and go beyond that. Can we see a sense of clarity? Can we see a sense of courage? Emotional regulation doesn't mean you stop doing things or something. You actually have to surf the wave, and it's extremely beneficial. What do we look out for when you want to refer somebody, when you want to introduce somebody, or if you are going through these kind of situations? What are the things that could help you get an introduction to this situation? General anxiety, confusions, and extended confusion, extended lack of clarity, um, big absenteeisms, and suboptimal presentism. When I was talking about positive presentism and suboptimal presentism, people come to work or people show up, but are they, is it the best? Are they in the best of the situation? Are they ready to contribute the best? And this is often followed with frequent resignations as well. Abnormal motivation, discouraging behavior. I want to prove something, I want to do something, I'm doing this, but nothing is working. Frustration, complaining, many times extreme silence is a symptom. I mean, because people are not feeling safe enough to share. overreacting to situation, hiding certain behaviors. You know, somebody that these guys, this is how they work, but all of a sudden the behavior has changed. Low impact of previous trainings. You have tried everything. You have given them books. You have given them videos and so forth. Things don't seem to be improving. Talk to me. No direction or and specific symptoms, because there are so many things that are specific to your team, your industry, your sector, and so forth, your country, where things need to be very custom, and uh, it just needs a bit more in-depth discussion where we need to see, okay, this is not looking right. How can I make it right? And this is where we start talking. We start with a discovery call. We have anonymous links to get answers from. We create custom workshops, mostly once a month or once a quarter, depending on the industry, depending on the size of the company. We have assessments, both offline, online, and so forth. These assessments can be shared up to an extent with the management with reports. Why I mentioned up to an extent is because we want a certain sense of anonymity to make people feel safe. And it's all about feeling an environment of safety so that they can express. And the assessments are designed based on psychology so that even if a person is answering the answer that they are supposed to answer, as an example, how are you feeling? I'm feeling fine. They may not be feeling fine, but they are supposed to answer, I'm feeling fine. We ask the questions in so many ways that we get closer to the truth as well. And of course, we then do a bunch of refresher sessions that you can get more and more updated about techniques and tools. You don't get clean with just one shower, or one car wash doesn't help the car. You have to keep it maintained. So that's how we bring back the techniques again and again in simpler forms. These are supported with monthly group calls and wherever relevant, one-to-one sessions as well, especially for the CEOs and leaders if they need that, and if there is relevance. Like I mentioned, there are different situations where group calls are far more useful. So let's talk. My name is Jeev Sahoo, like Yahoo. Email us, call us, come to our website and book a free call, and let us talk freely. It's all about safety. It's all about sharing. This is a parallel pandemic that is going on, and there is no point thinking of this as a stigma or taboo. The least you will get is a nice talk out of it, because um, the more we share, the better we feel. So let's all feel better. Mindly well-being. Talk safely with Mindly.